from the front lines of faith and justice. This is Firebird Dispatch.
This is Firebird Dispatch. No fear, no spin, just spirit-level clarity in a world on fire. It's been quite a week. Let's get started. Dateline, Washington, D.C. On June 14th, Washington, D.C. will host its first full-scale military parade since 1991, when the nation celebrated the end of the Gulf War. This year, however, the parade isn't about peace. It's about spectacle. Tanks, flyovers, armored vehicles rolling over taxpayer-funded pavement. The estimated cost? Upwards of $45 million. And that's not even counting the cost to repair the pavement after bearing the weight of those vehicles. I mean, our city streets are not meant to bear the weight of armored vehicles, right? Meanwhile, the Department of Veterans Affairs continues to suffer from budget cuts, staff shortages, and reduced services, especially for mental health and housing. And let's not forget, the commander-in-chief calling the shots here avoided the draft, citing bone spurs, though he reportedly could not recall which foot they were on. All this while nationwide counter-demonstrations are being organized by the No Kings movement, which calls out the glorification of militarism and the creeping idolization of authoritarian use. Fascism by any other name is still fascism. Major protests are scheduled in D.C. and beyond. At Firebird Spirit, we believe real strength isn't shown through missiles on parade like they do in Russia and North Korea. It's shown through compassion, humility, and care for those who've borne the true cost of war, like those few survivors of the great D-Day invasion 81 years ago this week that led to the end of World War II. We encourage you to protest. This is not the American way. March. Pray. Contact your representatives. Use tools like the 5 Calls app to raise your voice. Support our vets, not military theater. Stand for peace, not pageantry. Dateline, Washington, D.C. After weeks in El Salvador's infamous mega prison system, where our government pays to imprison people, without trial, without recognizable rule of law, well, Kilmar Abrego Garcia has been returned to the United States, but not to safety or care. Instead, he now faces new federal charges, eerily similar to those that were not filed years ago due to lack of evidence. So why now? Why him? Why bring a survivor of international abuse back only to place him in yet another system of criminalization? Come on, you know. At Firebird Spirit, we know the truth. Empire always finds a new way to punish the poor, the brown, the broken, and the brave. And to those who follow the radical rabbi from Nazareth 2,000 years ago, the one who spent his time with the jailed, with the judged and the forgotten, this isn't just a legal case. It's a call to remember where liberation begins, not in the halls of power, but at the margins, lifting up and empowering the marginalized. Keep your eyes on this story, friends. Let the man stand trial by a jury of his peers for what he's accused of, and if he is guilty, then so be it. But let's also remember Matthew 25. And when we give grace and comfort to the least of these, my brothers and sisters, we give it to him as well. Dateline, the Pentagon, Arlington, Virginia. Pete Hegseth, now overseeing aspects of the Department of Justice's cultural directives, has launched a campaign to rename Navy vessels and public buildings currently honoring LGBTQ leaders, people of color, civil rights activists, famous Jewish leaders, including the USNS Harvey Milk. Other ships reportedly on the chopping block include those named for John Lewis, honoring the late civil rights hero, Cesar Chavez, named after the labor leader, Sojourner Truth, celebrating the abolitionist and women's rights advocate, and Ruth Bader Ginsburg, named for the jurist and the Supreme Court justice, known for recognizing women's equality and justice for all. The rationale, a supposed term return to patriotic values. Really? Really? Let's be honest, this isn't about patriotism. It's about power. It's about erasure. It's about whitewashing history to fit the empire's preferred narrative. At Firebird Spirit, we don't worship flags or forget where freedom comes from. We remember. We name. We lift up those who dared to love, resist, and liberate. Because the sacred archive of justice, it includes queer people, queer prophets, black truth-tellers, immigrant laborers, cis men and women, trans and non-binary people, a full panoply, a full rainbow of God's beauty. And when their names are erased, we must speak them even louder. Dateline, Cape Canaveral, Silicon Valley, and Mar-a-Lago. What started as a political spat is now threatening space itself. Thin-skinned President Trump, furious over Elon Musk's criticism and wavering loyalty, has publicly hinted at canceling SpaceX's contracts with NASA. Even as astronauts rely on Musk's rockets to supply the International Space Station and provide a way home for them. Musk, in return, has lobbed back threats about his own tech empire pulling away from government collaboration. The result? We have two billionaires treating our shared future like a chessboard of personal vendettas. This, of course, is one of the best arguments ever for not privatizing public institutions and programs. At Firebird Spirit, we know this is exactly why the prophets warned against unchecked power, whether it wears a crown, a title, or a tech badge. Creation is not a corporate asset. The cosmos is not a billionaire's playground. The sacredness of shared space on Earth or in orbit requires humility, cooperation, and reverence. So speak out, people. Speak out. Talk with each other and use the 5 Calls app. There's a lot more that we could have covered this week, but we just focused on these for now. We may be dropping a special edition during the week if it warrants it. This has been your Firebird Dispatch, where spirit meets the real. Truth refuses to be silenced, and hope, it still rises. So stay fierce, stay kind, stay awake. Don't give up, don't give in, show up. And we'll see you next time.
You've been watching Firebird Dispatch. Rising in love, grounded in justice. Join the movement at #Firebird Spirit.